Evening, everyone. Welcome to a quick little Sky Fantasy Football Game Week 41 preview. I'm just going to check that it is actually Game Week 41 because the Sky Game Weeks are all buggered up. But yeah, it's Game Week 41. Just me tonight, just Tom. Sam's, I think he's having dinner with his in-laws. So yeah, if you all give him some abuse, call him a part-timer because we know what takes priority, right? Sky Sports Fantasy Football for Game Week 41. No, only kidding. But yeah, just going to go through my team, a few stats, interesting points on players' expected returns, etc., etc. I'll just do a bit of babbling, basically, and answer some of your questions at the end. So first up, very quickly, I just flash up my team. Completely out of transfers. I dropped probably 100 places after the Liverpool-Southampton game. I think quite a lot of the game now have Joel Matip, which pushed me back about 100 places. Obviously, he scored, and quite a lot of people would have had him captain, given that VVD and Salah didn't play, the two most popular Liverpool players. But yeah, just quickly going into that final week, like I said, I got no transfers left. To be honest, I'd just be really happy if all 11 of my players start, really. I'm really happy with my team, to be completely honest, apart from the fact, obviously, Salah and Van Dijk haven't been playing a great deal. I'm happy, I've got Pope in goal, got something really to play for this weekend. He's got Newcastle at home, which is quite a tough fixture. I think Newcastle were like third or fourth it would be third or fourth in the Premier League had it started in like January time. So yeah, Pope's got a tough fixture upon him, but yeah, hoping he can pull out some saves. Got Cancelo, Laporte, Rudiger, Silva. I mean, I'd just be happy if they all start. And then expecting pretty much a clean sheet and passing from each of them, to be honest. Aston Villa probably offer a bit more attacking threat than Watford do. So, yeah, expecting a Chelsea clean sheet slightly more than a City one. But, yeah, hopefully four clean sheets for that lot. Same with Van Dijk, really. Mainly if he starts, you'd like to think he gets some passing bonus against Wolves. And, yeah, that clean sheet as well. Midfield of Saka, Rafinha and Ramsey. Both Saka and Rafinha really have something to play for this weekend. Obviously, Rafinha leads his best player and they're fighting for relegation. And Saka playing Everton, who have just been relegated, and they're fighting for top four. So quite a lot on that game for Arsenal against a team that probably aren't going to be bang up for it. And then Ramsey against Man City, but Ramsey's that one enabler, right, isn't he, that you just sit in your team and not really expect anything from. I'll take what I can get from him. And then up top, I've got Kane and Salah. I've got captaincy on Kane at the moment. The news went around on Twitter earlier that I think Kane cancelled, I don't know if it was a fitness footballing event or if it was just like a media thing, but he cancelled an event tonight because he wasn't feeling very well. So we see the teams, right? So it's not the end of the world. If Kane doesn't play, I'll stick the armband on someone else. But yeah, it'd just be a bit annoying if I'm run out of transfers and got yet another player who doesn't start. But that's my team, and captaincy is currently on Kane, and I'll show you why coming up. I've got some statistics to back that up. Obviously, my team doesn't quite cover all the fixtures, so just a view of all the games that are going on Sunday. Obviously, all kicking off at 4 o'clock, so that's going to be an absolute super Sunday. So we got Crystal Palace at home to Man United. I think I incorrectly said on the fan team pod that Man United didn't have anything to play for here, but it's Man United versus West Ham for a spot in the Europa League. Crystal Palace, obviously, their season's pretty much finished, but they're always quite tricky to play against, and I think they have quite good home form. Certainly in terms of expected shots conceded and stuff, they're really quite highly ranked. Expecting them to give Man United quite a tough game, and obviously Man United need to win. But I don't think many of us are owning Man United or Crystal Palace players at this stage of the season. Maybe a couple have got Gallagher, and I saw a couple of replies to our captaincy poll that a couple of people might have Bruno Fernandes, but I don't think I'd be touching any of them with a captaincy. Chelsea against Watford. Again, like I said when I talked through Rudiger and Silva and my team, this this feels like a nailed-on Chelsea clean sheet, given Watford already down, load of players injured. But Chelsea have been looking quite ropey at the back recently. So yeah, I'd back them to keep a clean sheet, but you just never know with Chelsea. Then we got Brentford at home to Leeds, who are fighting for their lives, need to win this game to stay up. I've got Rafinha, and quietly confident he could do something against Brentford. Obviously, Leeds haven't been looking amazing, but we all know what Rafinha's got in him. Leeds a bit reduced in terms of firepower. I'm not sure if Bamford is back. And obviously Dan James got sent off in the last game, so they're going to be pretty weak going forward. So, Rafinha is going to be even more of a focal point, which, to be honest, might mean that Brentford just stick 2 defenders on him all game. But, I mean, either one of Leeds or Burnley will go down, won't they? And I've got Rafinha and Pope. So, I'll have a relegated player to finish my team, basically. Then we've got Man City at home to Villa. Certainly one of the games you could look at for captaincy. Obviously, City defenders are the standout, and obviously Kevin De Bruyne as well has been in pretty amazing form. Yeah, I'd say for me, I don't own De Bruyne. I've got Laporte and Cancelo. I'd obviously fully expect both of them to start, needing to win this game to win the league. I think Cancelo's a real captaincy shout in this game. I think Villa, in terms of comparing defences, the top defences, you got obviously Man City, Chelsea and Liverpool. I think out of the 3 opponents of those 3 teams, Villa are most likely to score, in my opinion. But I just think, Cancelo has been the stalwart 5-pointer all season, minimum, hasn't he? And with Man City needing to win this game, you'd like to think he'd be given a bit of license to get forward as well. So passing bonus, clean sheet, tack and return, tackles bonus. He's got all of that in his locker, hasn't he? So I really don't hate Cancelo captaincy. Brighton against West Ham. Like I said with the United game, West Ham and Man United fighting it out for the 6th place. West Ham be going for it this game. Brighton, tricky team to play against. Not quite sure how they'll match up with one another. But obviously Bowen has just been on fire this season. He can get a return against anyone. So I think for a while I brought Bowen back into my team, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, I think. Can't quite remember who I sold him for, but almost regretting that now, because Bowen is the kind of player that just, he sits in your team and picks up returns against anyone. He scored brace against Man City, for example. So, fancy him to score against anyone. So, it'd be interesting to see how that game goes. Mentioned when I talked about Saka in my team. We got Arsenal at home to Everton. Like I said, Arsenal fighting for top 4. Everton safe. Confirmed to be safe, probably out celebrating last night around Liverpool. Not sure they're going to be bang up for that game on Sunday, so it'd be an interesting one, especially with Arsenal, like I said, fighting for top 4. Certainly back Saka and maybe like likes of Nketiah, etc., maybe to come out with returns. I think that's a very, very rogue captain pick, but I think if you want to be really cheeky, you could do it, but I certainly don't have the bottle for that. But just thinking, what is going to be going through those Everton players' heads for that game. I'm just not sure they're going to be bang up for it. Then we got Leicester at home to Southampton. Southampton not looked great recently. I know they held their own for a little while against Liverpool, but they just didn't have the fight, did they? And I don't think Leicester have any chance of qualifying for Europe. Might be wrong. Please pick me up on that. But they just seem to be bang up for every game at the moment, really. They played really well against Norwich and in their previous fixture as well. So, I'd back Leicester to score well against Southampton. Certainly if I had a Leicester player in my team, I wouldn't be transferring them out. Not sure I would captain them, though. I think we already spoke about Burnley, Newcastle. Certainly expect Nick Pope to get at least a saves bonus this game. Not sure they'll be able to keep Newcastle and Bruno and Wilson and co, especially quiet. But they're fighting for their lives, aren't they, Burnley? So they really need to get a result in this one. And then Norwich City at home to Tottenham. I think this is one of the games where there's some real captaincy options. It's a similar story to Arsenal-Everton, isn't it? But obviously you'd argue Kane and Son are better than the Arsenal assets in this game at the moment. So I think the most popular captain is going to be Kane or Son on Sunday, purely because Tottenham fighting for top four, looking pretty good going forwards, and against Norwich, who are already down, look pretty dejected and rubbish. Excuse me, got battered by Leicester at the weekend. So excuse me, Kane and Son I think are excellent options for Sunday. And then we got Liverpool at home to Wolves to end it off. Similar story to Man City, really. I mean, one of the best teams in the league, and they must win this game in order to have any chance of winning the title, right? The question is, who plays for them? Obviously, Van Dijk and Salah missed the game against Southampton. I think Van Dijk managed 90 in the FA Cup final, and obviously Salah got subbed off after about 30. Remains to be seen whether they'll play. We get to see the lineups, right? So it's not the end of the world. But it remains to be seen whether both Van Dijk and Salah play. I think I saw a tweet saying they were in training. So I'd probably expect Van Dijk to play, but maybe not Salah. Just because they've got so many options going forwards now, Liverpool, they might not risk him until the Champions League final. But as always, Salah is a great captaincy pick, as is Van Dijk, as is any Liverpool defender. And my standout pick from this fixture, I would say, is Mane, just because I'm pretty sure he starts going into it, and I think he might play through the middle. And out of that Liverpool front three, obviously Luis Diaz has looked pretty mean, but I think Mane has been the best in terms of attacking returns recently. So I think, if Salah plays, he's obviously an option, but I think Mane is the outstanding player from this game for me personally. So there are a couple of bits of statistics I just wanted to quickly flash up. I did the same on fan teams, so I have to give absolute full credit to FPL Salah. If you don't follow him on Twitter already, I think it's a must-follow account, really, because he does these statistics every week. And it's certainly in Sky anyway, with all the games for the game week being in one day. The captain, who you pick as your captain this week, is going to decide countless mini leagues. And obviously the 50k prize itself is probably going to be decided upon captain points. So these stats are an absolute must, and FPL Salah is a really must follow account. Quite simple, really. The one on the left is predicted points. Now, I know Sky, you have to factor in the bonus points. So, these points are for FPL. So, for Sky, you obviously have the different points for bonus, etc., etc. But what it's essentially saying is, they predict that Rudiger and Cancelo are likely to keep a clean sheet as close as it's almost possible to be, really. They expect Alonso and James to be a bit higher in terms of attacking returns, but the two top men are Kane and Son, which I think rings true with my gut feel this weekend. Obviously, Tottenham looking really good going forwards, and they're playing an already relegated Norwich, so you'd fancy them to do quite well. And then the one on the right, I think it discounts defenders because it's just about scoring goals, but Harry Kane tops the list in terms of most likely to score goals. And I think the thing you got to remember is in FPL, Son is a midfielder as well. So if you count him as a striker in Sky, I think he comes below. Well, he's only got a 60% chance of scoring in terms of the algorithms. So I think Kane just ranks just slightly above. So out of the two, if you look at the maths, you pick Kane. But for me, really, this maths, all it does is illustrate how close it is, right? As is pretty much every week, I think Kane and Son is a coin flip against Norwich. And if your captaincy call is between those two, I don't envy you, because it's a really tough one. And I think that Kane v Son variance, that's the kind of variance that's going to decide, like I said, countless mini leagues and the 50k. So, flip a coin between those two, really. I can't pick. I've just got Kane, so I'll be captaining Kane. And then just looking at other picks, this doesn't really help in terms of Sky predicted points. Maybe one day someone comes up with a Sky Fantasy Football predicted points model. But just looking here, Abdul in the hub prediction tool basically picks Cancelo to get a clean sheet, but he's saying he's less likely to get an attack and return, I guess, than the likes of James and Alonso. But with Cancelo alongside a clean sheet always comes passing bonus. He's got the ability to get tackles and the odd attack and return, right? He takes shots from outside the box. I think, honestly, every time I've seen Cancelo play this season, he's either come really close with a shot or hit the woodwork. I mean, it feels like he does it almost every game. So I really don't hate Cancelo as an option this weekend. I really don't. And then if Salah plays, I think he creates quite an issue for a lot of people, right? Because how can you ignore, probably not been the best player in the world for the last couple of months, but he's been the best player in the world this season pretty much. How can you ignore him? Final game of the season, he's got Wolves, not really much to play for. The Wolves not looking that great, and Liverpool need to win, even get anywhere near winning the title, right? So it'd be really hard to ignore Salah if he plays. For me, I think Kane's the outstanding captain. If you were to ask me, though, I felt like I completely babbled on there, but yeah, hopefully that was a bit of a good summary around the stats. And yeah, full credit to FPL Salah, of course, for this great content. And yeah, absolutely 100% recommend you follow that account, because these stats go out every week. And then just to finish off this short little pod, couple of questions. Aman Tatler, how many points do I think my team will score on the final day? So why not flash up my team quickly and I'll predict the points of each player. So I think let's go for Nick Pope first. I reckon he'll get 4 points. I reckon he'll get a saves bonus of some description, but probably concede a couple of goals. So I put him on 4 points. Cancelo and Laporte, I reckon 10 and 9, however you want to split it. So what's that on? 23. Rudiger, Silva, I'd expect them both to get 10. So what's that? We're on 29. I think, no, not 29. What are we on? 33, that would be. Van Dijk, I'm not sure he'll play, so I'm going to rule him out. I'm going to give him a 0, so we're back on 33. Rafinha, he's not been that great recently. I know I bigged him up, but probably I'd predict him to blank, so say 35. Saka, I think, might even score this weekend. So what's that? 9-10 points. 35, 45, Ramsey, 2-pointer just for appearing, so 47, and then Harry Kane, I'd expect him to score as my captain, so I'd say around 60 points would be my prediction for my team to score this week. I completely ruled out Salah because I really don't think he plays this weekend. It'd be really interesting if he does, but I say if Van Dijk and Salah both play, add about 20 points onto that total. But I'd say 60 with my 9 players. And then if Van Dijk and Salah play, we're on about 80, I reckon. And we had one final question. So Gordon Bell, both of you actually, Aman, you've asked us questions before. Just really appreciate all the questions every week. It's been great to get some interaction from everyone that watches this podcast. And yeah, it's just nice to feel like we're adding value in answering your questions. And yeah, hopefully we make a bit of sense when we answer them. Gordon asks us, still got 1 transfers left. Assuming that Salah isn't fit to play, from which team would you pick his replacement? This is a really tough one. So he said City have to win, Liverpool have to win, Spurs have to win, and Chelsea have the best fixture. Too many options. Gordon, I'm completely with you. Who would you pick to replace Mo Salah? I've no idea. I suppose it depends on... Well, it doesn't depend on budget, does it? Because Salah's the most expensive player in the game, pretty much. Like we saw on the points, right? Kane and Son are the 2 most likely players to score this week. So I think I'd bring in an extra Spurs player. If you don't have the Kane and Son double up, I think this week I would buy a Kane or whoever you don't have out of Kane and Son for Salah. And I'm guessing if you're asking about Spurs, you probably don't have the double up. But assuming you do, I'd probably buy a Man City defender if I had both Kane and Son in that position. Hopefully that helps. And I said in that Liverpool-Wolves game as well, I think Mane is a good shout as well. I think I'd prefer a Man City defender just over Mane. Just because with the Man City defenders, you're guaranteed a level of points from them pretty much. But for Mane, he needs to get an attack in return really to score any points. But yeah, I like Mane too. But I think number one would be an extra Spurs player. Number two would be a Man City defender that you don't already own. And number three would be Mane from Liverpool if you don't have him. Yeah, I felt like I rambled a bit on that one. It's just me, so I've got no Sam to keep me under control. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that. It not a particularly long one. There isn't too much to give away this week, really. We all know the fixtures and the outstanding players. Really, I think it sounds bad, but in order to succeed this week, I think you just have to be on the right side of variance and have a bit of luck going your way, to be completely honest. But before we do sign off, I'd like to give a special shout out to Dave Perrins, who's currently in second place. Absolutely lovely bloke. And yeah, just wishing you well this weekend, Dave. Hope you actually managed to get some sleep, etc. Must be really tough being in that position. Even though you're very close to riches, I can imagine it's excruciating trying to think about who you're going to captain, etc. So just know that we're all behind you, mate, and hoping you have a good finish. And yeah, we'll leave it there. I reckon Sam and I will be back in the next couple of weeks, hopefully with a special guest, just to do like a season roundup. But for now, that's the last preview done. And we'll catch you soon. Bye-bye.